Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to our June Bug Jam live stream. My name is Tiffany Hall. I'm an alumni of TripleTen Software Engineering Program, a full stack engineer, and I'm a product owner at Scholastic Inc., the world's largest publisher of children's books and a powerhouse in the digital education space as well. Tonight, I'm very excited to be the host of our June QA Bug Jam. I am very excited to see so many of you at home who are able to watch, and always excited to see how many of you are able to catch the replay if you aren't able to catch it live. Thank you so much for taking the time out to see what our students have been up to. You may be asking yourself, what is a bug jam? So if you are new to this space, I can certainly let you know. At TripleTen, a bug jam is a friendly competition that occurs with our students during their normal coursework with us. They are super short competitions where a group of students get together and they jam out all of the bugs they can possibly find. So, our bug jam tonight has consisted of two parts: the QA, quality assurance part, and the presentation, which we're going to see tonight. Last week, our quality assurance students were divided into teams and were challenged to collaboratively check an app that our May software engineer code jam participants created. So they also had a very short time frame, and when development happens in a short time frame, it is always rife with bugs. So should be very interesting to see what our students have come up with tonight. The project from last month's software engineering code jam was asking our students to develop some inspiring website or application that encouraged people to be more active, make sports and physical activity a more fun and more regular part of their day-to-day lives. So our students have been tasked with scouring an app called Stretch Today. And that is created by our team in May called Control Alt Elite. Great names, great names. Okay, our quality students only had 5 days to make their projects and show off all of their results to you tonight. Next week, our judges will review them, get them their feedback and their scores. Results will be posted on Discord by Tuesday, June 24th, and socials shortly thereafter. All of our students and viewers can vote for their favorite project during the week, and the winners of the Audience Award will receive a special prize from TripleTen, and hopefully nothing really offensive from my cat Sharkbait. We try to keep the dead mice out there. If you want to vote on our live stream, you can go ahead and vote in the live chat or in the comment section if you're watching this on replay. If you're not a student of ours. If you are a student of ours, then you can go ahead and look for that poll in the Discord channel. And all you have to do to vote for the team is to put the team name in the chat. Okay, so tonight we are going to go ahead and see hopefully two teams. Our second team was having some technical difficulties, so we're not quite sure if they're going to be able to make it to us tonight, but we certainly do have the Bug Raiders here with us this evening, and that team is Aisha Habib, Cynthia Alvarez, and Benjamin. I will go ahead and show their their pre-recorded, and then we will talk to them afterwards and ask them about their project. Let me go ahead and get that sharing happening here. All right, this is Bug Raiders.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. I am Benjamin Horowitz, part of Team Bug Raiders, and our presentation for the June Bug Jam by Team Bug Raiders. So first off, let's meet the team. So we have Aisha Habib, who did the functional test, who is a TripleTen alumni, Cynthia Alvarez, who is a current TripleTen student who did the non-functional testing, and me as well, Benjamin Horowitz, a soon-to-be TripleTen alumni who did the bug reporting on Google Sheet Slides. Too busy to stretch. It only takes a moment to feel better. So in this video, we have a woman at work who is practicing stretching. Normally, it is important to include stretching, whether in your daily routine during work or extracurricular activities. It is important to be able to take time out of your day to stretch. And this app will allow users to keep track of stretching and set up a daily routine. So, for an introduction for the Stretch Today web app, it has several features. The first is a daily stretching routine, which provides quick guided exercise based on the time and needs of the user. Next, we have the streak tracking system, which allows the user to track their daily activity to build healthy habits. And lastly, the user progress overview. This allows the user to see their current streaks and personal improvements they can make through the application. Next up, the methodology. So for this testing performed, we have two ledgers. We have the functional testing we performed, which includes the countdown timer and accuracy, the interactive feature validation, the feedback submission logic, and then on the other side of the ledger, we have the non-functional testing, which includes the user interface, performance under interaction stress, accessibility, and cross-browser support. And some of the tools used behind testing for the cross-browser testing, we use various different web applications, including Chrome, Safari, Firefox. And for our documentation, for our team presentation and bug reporting, we used Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Google Drive. And finally, for the bug reports, we documented and reported all of the cases through the Jira Atlassian application. So for our communication between team members, here is our communication, and this is where we communicated any part of the bug reporting and dividing up the work between the slides and also the Google Sheets. And now I'm going to hand off my presentation to my team member, Aisha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Habib, and today I'm diving into the Stretch Today app to uncover bugs. Let's look at it. Okay, so here is the test case summary. We made total to 93 test cases, out of which 50 of them passed, but 43 of them failed. Let's look at their bugs. So according to the severity of bugs, we had some high priority bugs for current street tracking, timer interruption feature, and the countdown timer. Others have medium to low priority. Going into the more details of bugs, let's look at it. The higher priority bugs was the current streets tracking because it stays at 0 days and it does not increment. Also, when the timer is going on, it is in incorrect format and there's no pop-up stretch window appears after the signal comes for the time to stretch. Another thing, let's look at the interface. It does say that it is 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and 45 minutes timer, but when the counter goes on, it decrements by seconds. So just suppose that user puts on the timer for 45 minutes, but the timer goes on in 45 seconds. That's a huge disappointment from user. Now, let's look at the timer interruption feature. This feature is completely not working. So if a user selects 10 minutes and then selects another 30 minutes to interrupt it, according to the requirements, there should be a dialog message, a confirmation message, but it is not appearing with no options for yes and no. Next, we have a medium priority bug. Over here, you can see that the stretch cards are not scrollable. And even if I would like to write a note that this exercise helped me with relaxing my muscles, I cannot save it. I cannot save my feedback. So this is also will result in frustration from the user for giving the feedback and cannot save it. Next coming up are the low priority bugs. These are the cosmetic bugs. And as you could see on the screen, this with the scratch cards, both thumbs up and thumbs down button has the same green rectangular. Now let's move on to the other types of testing that my team member Cynthia will go into it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Hi, y'all. My name is Cynthia, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the mobile testing that we performed. So, as part of our testing process, we explored the app's responsiveness. While the desktop version held up well, the mobile view revealed key layout issues that could frustrate users on the go. As you can see from the video, one of the things that you'll notice, much like the web app, is that the stretch cards are not scrollable, making it difficult to input feedback and save the card in some cases. However, I'd like to draw your attention to the storage layout. As you saw in the video, the cards are not being stored in a grid layout, and they are being saved oldest to newest when the requirements state it should be newest to oldest. Going into challenges we faced while working on this project, I think our group, as well as those of our peers, encountered similar issues in that those included gray areas in the requirements themselves, being constrained to the time frame allotted for testing, as well as working in groups where each person resides in a different time zone, and most of our communication had to be conducted through messaging. Not to mention any familial responsibilities, work, or in my specific case, traveling. So our final thoughts to wrap up. Functionality supports purpose, but refinement is needed. But that means the app delivers on its core promise of promoting wellness through stretching with helpful features like customizable reminders and an intuitive exercise library. However, we identify several functional bugs that, if addressed, would significantly improve the reliability and fluidity of the user experience. Moving on to user-centered design with room for enhanced usability. The concept and intent of the app align well with user wellness needs. Features like note-taking tool show thoughtful design, but some UI issues may hinder user engagement over time. Prioritizing UI polish and consistency could greatly enhance accessibility and daily usability. And finally, a strong foundation with growth potential. This app has a solid foundation and purpose with ongoing iteration based on our test findings, particularly addressing functionality, UI coherence, and minor bugs. It has the potential to become a go-to wellness companion for users seeking balance during long screen sessions. And to conclude, we stretch our testing muscles, tackle bugs as a team, and grew stronger through every challenge. From countdown confusion to pop-up precision, we caught the details that matter. That is our presentation. Thank you so much. We are the Bug Raiders.
Thank you.
Okay, that is wonderful. I really enjoyed seeing that. First question is, Cynthia, it says you're on the road performing. What are you doing?
Well, I'm an actor currently in Santa Fe performing a play in Santa Fe.
Oh, that's exciting. How's the weather there? Probably very hot.
Yeah, we're in the hundreds.
All right, so let's talk about this project. Seems like there was, a lot of meat for you guys to really grab onto in terms of bugs. What was maybe something that you guys, maybe each of you really enjoyed as a part of this bug jam? Do you guys both enjoy the hunt for it? Does one of you enjoy the putting it together for a stakeholders presentation? What part of the project do you enjoy the most?
Well, for me, I enjoy in the most, I would say I enjoy the presentation, and even it took us a few times to get it right when it happened that it didn't record right the first time. For me, it was very enjoyable getting together with the group and actually practicing the presentation.
Right on.
Okay, for me, I think when I was like checking all the features and when I saw that the 10 minute, 30 minute, 45 minutes going by seconds, I was like, what? what is going on? It's the minutes is just converted into seconds. So that was the huge thing for me. That's I think was the highest bug for me. I don't know about the other people, but it was uh like a very big bug for me. And then timer interruption and the other features were not working. So I was like, oh my God, I have to make so many reports. It's gonna be so much work for them.
For sure, for
Like
sure.
yeah, writing the Jira reports every time we find another feature that's getting wrong, and it's like, okay, I'm giving the bug reporting to someone else. I can just test it, and then bug reporting can be done by another person.
Yeah, that is always kind of a scary part, right? Where you're staring down the barrel of like there are 7,000 bugs you will need to fix, and the
Mhm.
developers are going to be like, "What?"
Yes.
No, I mean it's definitely an experience in terms of like all developers know they're going to have bugs come out of their code, especially the team Control Alt Delete. They know that there's going to be a lot of bugs that come from this. Obviously, they have the same time constraints that you guys had, so.
Mhm.
How was it working on the team for you guys? I know both of you are alumni, and Benjamin is working on getting that way too. But how was it in terms of like collaborating across time zones? Cynthia, you're on the road. You both have graduated already. What was that like for y'all?
Oh, let me clarify. I haven't graduated yet. I still have a couple of sprints to go. It's
Oh,
all
my
good.
mistake. Wishful
But
thinking, I'm sure.
wishful thinking. No, I mean, it there were certainly various factors that added to the stressful situation of like, I'm traveling and I'm getting a Discord message, or like I'm in the middle of the show and my phone is vibrating. Um, but it's one of those things where you just have to find the time, and it kind of it was good practice for me because ultimately this experience is set up to give us that firsthand experience of what it would be like to actually work on a remote team.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's really a great opportunity for that. I have one team member of mine who is currently in Alaska right now for family things and is having to work on that time zone just in between different stuff.
mhm. So it
Aisha, how
was
about
just one
you?
of sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh
Cynthia, you
well,
can
just to
finish
wrap
up.
up,
I'm
it's
too
just one of those
excited.
things. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh well, this is what it's gonna be like. Because I'm
Yeah,
hopeful to like continue my acting as I also go into QA engineering. So I'll be like, oh, this is setting me up to like what it might be like an actual week working on an actual project while I'm also doing this thing.
for sure. Okay, now Aisha. See, I'm too excited. I need to just calm down.
No problem at all. So with the like it's been only a month and I started the career acceleration program. So I'm on at the moment where I have like a mock interview, another mock interview, another interview with the technical interviews. I have like all of them arranged in another meeting. So it was like when they asked me, okay, do you want to join for bug? Then I was like, will I be able to do it or will I not be? I was on a 50-50, but I was like, okay, how hard it could be. I was just look at it because I really liked it and I was like, okay, whatever it will be, even the smallest part, I could show it on the LinkedIn or something. I could just add an extra before my final meeting. So I was like, okay, just hop on with it. So I still have the, tech interview, mock interview, both of them tomorrow, and then the meeting
Okay.
again. So and with I was also my coach was also leaving. She's that's why they did the meeting in emergency, like 4 days before. So that was also a thing coming before as I expected. So it's okay. I was like, okay, but we'll see. I have a new team and I like making friends. And I was like, okay, with three teams, now I have like three or four more friends, four more connections for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and gosh, what a great opportunity because you can really
Yes.
sit and talk about your project that you're working on right now, right? So to be able to to have that like real kind of live experience has got to be really
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, and meeting new people because I was like before coming to this QA program in TripleTen, I was more uh into like not talking to strangers, and with the competition, like now I feel more like okay, now I want to join more. Okay, I want to talk more with Cynthia too. We did even with the project, other talks were also okay. How's the day going? How's this going? How's the work going? Okay, so it was a good thing to, you know someone and then you add them to LinkedIn and then you add them to your social accounts, and then okay, they're also going on the road of going with the jobs and how
That's
the
right.
market is going. So that was a good thing too, that I've made like three, or I think I've made more connections through the bug jam as compared to, working or talking to people. So that was very good for.
Yeah, that is really wonderful. It's always nice to have those connections, especially even as you go through and you get the job, because then you have other resources to fall back
Mhm.
on. Like,
Yes.
you need help trying to figure out how to test this one feature. Do you have any thoughts? It's always a
Yes.
nice thing.
Yes, and
Well,
even you can go back to your
yeah,
previous team, and ask them, can you please vote for me? And it was like, yeah, sure, why not? Okay. You could even do that.
stack those votes. Absolutely.
Yes.
So then, what was maybe something that either of you or both of you found challenging about the project that you guys had to overcome and work around?
Well, for me, it was definitely the communication through Discord. Just in terms of like I don't not having Aisha and Benjamin face to face, and
Mhm.
maybe some messages getting just like lost between everybody just sending messages. I mean, like, did anybody ever get to do that thing, or
Yeah, having to circle
I would
back
say
to three messages
right.
ago. Yeah.
Right. And so for me, that was definitely the most difficult part in terms of like, and also because you don't have the person in front of you, it also leads to like, wait, what, like, what do you mean? Do you mean it like this or did you mean it like this? Um, so it just, sometimes it opens it up to a little bit of like interpretation, how you interpret the communication. So that was definitely the hardest part for me, is just communicating through messaging.
Okay. I mean, that's a big one, right? There's no tone in text. So it's always really hard. And when those things are not threading, God, it starts to become really tough to, when you say this, what this did you mean? Did you mean this from the second message or five messages ago? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And even, we have to talk about the PST or CDT time or mountain time. First, I had to Google those. Okay, what does mountain mean? Then I Googled what does mountain time means, because I knew about the EST, but this time I did not have a person with EST, so I had to Google, and then I got late for the meeting too, and I was like, it just got out of my mind, and I was like, okay, this is Sunday is going just like that, and I just quickly got my reminder. Oh, I had the meeting, and I forgot, and I forgot to do this and this, and I would say like for this particular app, I found gray areas more that with the missing requirements. That was the thing for like challenging for me. But the other thing, I knew what was the drill, how the bug jam goes on, how do we work, and how do we do it. But this time I was like more questioning to Irina, like writing it
Hmm.
down and asking her that, and she said, okay, you could just show it as a bug, but there were more missing things. I was like, okay, I will just take it as my opinion and just go with it and just show them as
Yeah.
bugs.
No, I totally agree. Okay, so let's talk advice before I move on to the next team. Let's talk advice for other QA. So we do these every month, right? And we
Mhm.
always have QA students. What would be your advice if I said, "Hey, during the briefing, go back and watch this June bug jam, see what advice those teams had for you." What advice would you give to them?
Make sure
Don't
you
take it as
do
a
have.
work. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
You you're both so excited.
Please,
Okay,
Aisha, go
okay.
ahead.
Okay, Cynthia, go ahead.
Okay, what I was gonna say is make sure you have enough time because you can definitely overestimate how much time you have going into this.
Okay.
'Cause it's one of those things you have to really consider. You have to consider like you're doing your coursework if you're still a student,
Yeah.
any other responsibilities like work, family. So make sure you are able to balance all of it because it is time consuming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great advice. Aisha?
I would say don't take it as a work. Take it like you have a real thing that you are testing and take it as if you like this is like a practice before going into the field. So
Ooh,
because I am
okay.
into that career acceleration right now, when I had one of my interview, a mock interview, the practice interview, she asked me some behavioral questions with your peers, and I gave her the answer. She was like so much like she appreciated me that you had given me the answers that a real person like you have been to a real thing. So I told her, yes,
Yeah.
because of this competition, I had this problem. We solved it like this, and you know we're human beings, we forget and we come back, we
Mhm.
apologize, okay, I forgot. So she was like she said that I don't believe you that it's your first practice interview. I said yes, this is my first ever interview. So I was happy with it, that you can never ever have those answers to the behavioral situations until you go into that situation. And even today, like yesterday, we were done with the streaming, we were done with everything. And at the time when we saw our stream, we were not showing while we were doing the presentation. So, so I told Cynthia, it's a big bug. We are not in the stream. And we were laughing and we were like, yeah, don't be sorry for it because it happens and we learn, okay, this could happen and we have to look at our work. So for me, it was a, like learning thing again. Yes, I when I've been to into these situations, I was more able to give them the answers in not having the advice from ChatGPT. Okay, what's the behavioral for this? So that was a good thing for me. I learned more in it into it. And with the work, I would say yes, the bug gems are lengthy and are very. You have to make the bug reports when you like done with the testing and you come to the bug report, you lose your energy. Oh, like I'm gonna do it tomorrow and tomorrow, and it goes on tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow when you only have 5 days, right?
Yes, and you reach the last day and you're like, okay, I will send the file, but I will make the bug reports tomorrow, and then it goes on.
Well,
Yes.
all of that sounds like really great advice for our students. And sounds like you both got some very wonderful, like tangible value out of the competition too. And I'm really excited to see your project and see how the bugs you guys found match up with a lot of the things that the judges from the SE code jams see as well. It's
Mhm.
very interesting. All right, that has been our Bug Raiders team with Aisha Habib, Cynthia Alvarez, and Benjamin Horowitz. Thank you guys so very much. What a great project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank
and
you.
then our last team, they were not able to join us live because of some tech difficulties, but I wanted to be able to go through and show their presentation all the same because they have put in a lot of work. So our second team for the evening is the Bug Zappers, and that team consists of Kayla Paisley and Victorine Newhall, and I just can't wait for you to see what Victor has put in. Let me just go ahead and make sure we're ready here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give present to Victorine's project here. We have the bug zappers as we see. And again, the project is for the QA bug jam. The team had 5 days. All right, so the team, as I mentioned before, is Kayla and Victorine, and you can see that Victorine here has his LinkedIn, and he was responsible for the test plan, the communication, the slide presentation, about 70% of the test cases, and he is a Google Drive master. Kayla here has her LinkedIn and is a Jira master, was trying to do the oral presentation tonight and did about 30% of test cases and the requirement analysis. So looking at the project for the overview, obviously, we know they were working on Stretch Today, the same project as the other teams. Stretch Today, just to remind you, is a wellness app that is designed to promote consistent stretching habits. It included features like countdown timers, streak tracking, instant stretching suggestions, and the navigation is intuitive via the header menu, allowing users to jump between the different sections of the app, such as Let's Stretch or the About. Some of the things that they were testing in their test cases were the immediate stretch prompts, confirmation for timer interruptions, stretch suggestions are randomized, the interactive stretch timer, and the persistent streak counter. So making sure that it worked across devices. So now looking through their functional test coverage overview, the test focus areas, meaning where they focused most of their test cases that they wrote up and then did the testing, like this lovely little crab bug thing, was in the login validation. They had 7 cases that they were able to write up for that huge area there. As we all know, login is one of the trickiest things to get right. Access control, navigation. We had 1 case and 3 cases respectively. The next one that was the major focus for this team was the timer functionality. The timer functionality, again, being a huge component for the Stretch Today app. So really glad to see that this team focused on the timer functionality. The stretch logic, making sure that that randomization was coming through. The team found 4 cases with that. Streak tracking was a whopping 7 cases, another huge one, which again, if the idea behind the code is, or sorry, behind the app is to gamify the stretching and make sure that users are able to see their progress, streak tracking would be a huge function that a QA team would want to focus on. So well done there. The last one being alert feedback. They've listed also their browsers and the OSs tested. And again, when looking at the 5-day time frame, that this seems like a pretty comprehensive group of browsers and OSs tested. They are the majority stakeholders in the field: Mac OS, Chrome, and Edge. All right, so now let's look at the Bug Zappers test summaries. A total of 33 test cases was written, and test cases that were executed were 11. They were able to find 4 bugs. Now, this may be a little confusing because you may be thinking like, if you have so many bug cases, how can you only find it? So the way that the QA usually works is they go through and start working with developers and product around creating what those use cases might be for a user. They create the test cases. So what app feature they will test, and then see if those are successful or if they fail. The ones that are failures are the ones that are bugs. So definitely able to see that they were able to find useful bugs, and they've reported here the percentage of execution and bug detections. Obviously, when we're looking at the Bug Zappers team, they only had 2 teammates on this one, and one of the 2 teammates wasn't able to kind of give 100% of their time, unfortunately. So it was largely a singular QE effort here. And so that is part of the reason for such a low bug count when compared to the bug raters. Now looking at a bit more in depth around the different test cases and bugs. This is something that you see a lot with QA design. So obviously you can see here at the top, they have the title of their test case, the homepage access without login. The test objective is to verify the homepage cannot be accessed directly without logging in. The reason for that, obviously, is that if you are coding an app that is going to have a protected area or a users only area, you want to make sure that that user has to log in and that it's not just available to anybody who just hits the app, right? The QA then goes through and they've listed their steps. Number one, to open the browser. Two, to enter a specific URL. And this is important because this is hitting the very specific page that you want to make sure is behind that members only wall. When you're writing your tickets, you write down the expected result, but then they also wrote down what the actual result was. The page did load directly without authentication, and there was no login prompt or error reported to the user. So the test result is in a fail. As you can see, this giant, massive bug, which I hope everyone is referencing, is from the movie that shall not be named, but very funny. Okay, so this is a security vulnerability, really helpful that Victor was able to note this for developers, because a lot of times developers and product have to get together and work out what the priority is, right? Is this a nice to have, or is this a like huge functional piece of the app that is not working? So really great to see the recommendation here as well. Implement route guards or access control logic to enforce authentication on direct URL access. All right, now looking at their next test case that they've highlighted here, the countdown timer accuracy. Remember, that was one of the big features, is that the stretching, it needs to have a specific and finite time for this app to work correctly for the user. The test objective they've noted was verifying that the countdown starts correctly after selecting a preset timer. For an example, 10 minutes. They've listed their steps here so that you can what they envision the expected result to be. When you follow through these steps, the expected result should be a countdown timer beginning at the 10:00 and decrementing in a minutes seconds format. And those things, those details that Victor was able to really highlight here, super important when it comes to it. And because you'll see here in the actual result, the timer began at 0:10 and started counting down by seconds instead of minutes. Now, on the developer side of things, that could be just a quick moment of a fat finger, or again, placing a colon in the wrong error, putting minutes before seconds, seconds before minutes. But to a user, that is a huge difference in terms of what they're expecting. So fail, big fail here. The timer does not reflect the duration, misleading UX, incorrect functionality. The recommendation that they've listed here is to fix the logic to correctly interpret and render the countdown based on minutes, ensuring the UI matches preset duration selections. Really wonderful there. Okay, missing custom error message on empty login fields. This is the next featured test case that they have. The test objective for the team was to verify error messages when an empty username or password is entered. Again, thinking through that login functionality. The team has listed the very clear URL, very clear steps, nice and clean. Again, thinking through, if they're writing their steps out correctly, then anyone can test them. The stranger test, as it is, will be passed, right? So a person from product, a person from dev, they can all see the same thing that the QA is seeing when they go and follow these steps. The expected result would be text being invalid username or password appearing, but the actual result was, please fill out this field. And a custom error message never displayed. So test result, definitely a fail here, does not meet the stated functional requirements. I do really appreciate, as a developer, the recommendations, because QA often sees a lot of the same repetition when they're going through their test and seeing, if you are in a company, what those protocols may be. So in this case, if you could imagine that the QA is aware that, like, client-side validation logic is what is the standard for this company, that would be their recommendation. Making sure that the custom message of invalid username or password is present, and that those things are overriding the default browser validation. That is also something that is a nice detail to include there. Let's talk about the team's challenges and reflections beyond the tech that we have already talked about tonight. Some of the other things were team hiccups. You know, we talk about it a lot, but and our last team, the Bug Raiders, they mentioned it too. The time, the availability, trying to fit all of these things in can be a challenge. You sign up thinking you're able to do all of this and fit it all in, and then, as we all know, life kind of happens. And that was what happened to our Bug Zappers team as well. So only 2 team members were able to be active. And even then, one was dropping. The team started with 3 team members, then one dropped. And then most of the workload had to shift to one of the team members, Victor, and because the other team member was just simply not able to take on as much. And you'll find that in real life teams too. Capacity wanes and waxes for lots of teams for lots of reasons. And so while it does really stink in these short time compressed pieces of around 5 days, it is a really great moment. Like I think Aisha was mentioning, for Victor and to call out and Kayla to call out in their future interviews that this is a real thing they've experienced and how they were able to navigate it. And most importantly, that they were able to get value to the dev team and be able to still complete the prompt. And that, I think, is super admirable. They definitely talked through their resource shortages. That is a key piece for this team to be bringing up. Not just a team resource, but if there is an actual resource shortage around the appropriate testing platforms, if you only have 2 UIs to test against or 2 browsers to test against, that's a real thing that needs to be called out, because it's great that you are testing it on Chrome, but if everyone is using Edge, that's a joke. But if everyone is using Edge, then clearly we need to make sure that we're testing that as well. And the QA team would need that resource. The communication barriers that the team has listed was definitely challenging around communication. It can be really challenging whenever teams are all on different time zones. And I think this team really had the time crunch and time zone situation working against them. As you can see here, though, the meme game and the pictures are on point. I'm really hoping everyone everyone home is watching so that they can make sure they know what movie this is referencing all throughout. All right, now we come to our final recommendations from the Bug Zappers. So naturally, the first recommendation is to automate where you can. That is a great way to really speed up the testing process on any development lifecycle. So great recommendation there. Talking through the automated testing for daily streak tracking countdown timers, they can catch any of those regressions very quickly and then be able to get those fixed before they become user facing. User feedback. This is always something that would be really amazing. Implementing in-app feedback prompts to catch usability issues that the team might miss. So a lot of times you might see that down in the little bubble in an app where there is a contact us button. That would be a great add. And then team QA process. For future sprints, build in more structured QA roles, timelines, and ownership to avoid last-minute testing bottlenecks. On the dev teams I have been very fortunate that all of the development teams I've been on in my career have really put QA at the very beginning, even into the point consideration, time estimations, making sure that we're able to complete those things. So that way the dev team doesn't get 20 points with 3 days left in a sprint. So really great advice piece there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all from the Bug Zappers team. So if you are not sure, the movie that you are watching here is Starship Troopers, I believe, and a really great bug movie. So well done to the Bug Zappers. Lots of challenges, lots of difficulties, but in the end, you guys really persevered. You came out with some amazing recommendations, and you did not let any of those other outside influences deplete your quality of recommendations and your quality of test cases. And that is fantastic. So congratulations again for completing that work under such catastrophic situations. The Bug Zappers team is Victorine Newhall and Kayla Paisley. And that is going to be all for us tonight from the TripleTen team. This has been our June QA Bug Jam presentation. Thank you so much for watching at home. Thank you so much for watching the recording later. Make sure you show your cat. Shark makes me say that. To cast your vote for your favorite project, please go ahead and either leave a comment in our live chat you'll see next to me, or in the comment if you're watching it on record later. If you're a student of ours, you can vote in the Discord channel. All of our winners will be announced on the Discord and the socials by June 24th. As we have heard tonight, team is everything when it comes to making these things work. And so I want to take a moment to thank all of the behind the scenes people that you guys don't see that work so hard to make sure that we are able to support students and get this out to you every month. That would be Irina, our mentor, very, very helpful there. Kevin, Elena, Natasha, Anastasia, Dennis, our co-jam manager, and of course my cat Sharkbait, who is a paid actor. Thank you again to both of our teams for participating. Thank you so much for all of the effort, and thank you to our dev team from the May Co-Jam for putting yourself out there so that our QA students could learn. All of the collaboration and courage that you guys show is really just what this is all about, and I really appreciate that from my teacher heart. Okay, so my name is Tiffany Hall. You can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram, and you could probably find my cat Sharkbait bug hunting. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great evening.